he's mentioning. Okay. So three more halachos, and then we're done with the parak. Charoses, which it just occurred to me now. I don't know what the origin of the word charoses is, because charis is like a clay shard or a clay. So I don't know if it's based on but I don't think you call like
with the sama.
I think it's with a samech. I think, yeah. So either way, charoses mitzvah midivrei sofrim. So the charoses is the weirdest mitzvah. I don't know if you've ever gone.
I asked about it yesterday, but I was like, I'll wait till we.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, it is the weirdest mitzvah for several reasons, but we'll read it first. Mitzvah midivrei sofrim. It's a rabbinic mitzvah. Zecher latit shayu ovdin bo b'mitzrayim. It is a remembrance of the clay that or the mud that the Egyptians, that they worked with in Egypt. So how do you make it? So he gives two different recipes. Okay, so in yeah, so let's do the first recipe first. First recipe was in the פירוש המשניות. Yeah, well, actually, it's funny. I think it is gross, but I've only spent one Pesach here. That was during COVID, and I had Estes that she made. Well, she makes the Rambam one, and it was not bad. It was oh, nice. Okay, it's good. Yeah. So you'll taste it. So he says, Charoses is tarovis sheish ba chamitzus. So that's the definition. It is a mixture that has pungency. Okay, right? Vinegar. Ukein tevin zecher latit. It's like, and it resembles the straw as a remembrance of the mud. All right. V'kach nachnu osim osa. This is how we make it. Shurin te'inim o tamarim. We soak figs or dates. Umavashlim osan, and we cook them. V'dachin osan ad shisrakachu. We crush them until they become soft. I think shisrakachu is probably like they become mushy. Is probably the better translation. V'lashin osan b'chometz, and then we knead them in vinegar. V'nostim b'tochan sanbal is a min tavlin. So we put in a sanbal, which I don't know what that is. O karnes, I looked that up, couldn't find it either. O ezov b'li shchiga, or hyssop without grinding it. Okay, fine. So that's his. And then he says, Rabbi Tzadok she'omer charoses mitzvah. So one man Amar says that it's a mitzvah and you actually have to make a bracha and eat it. And he says that's not the halacha. But then the confusing thing is, what do you do with it? So here the Rambam says, first of all, he gives his recipe here. The kitzad osinosa, how do you make it? Loklim tamarim o grogoros. You take dates or dried figs. He says teinim yivayishos o tzimukim, or raisins. The ben. V'dorsin osan, you crush them or mash them. V'nosnin l'tochan chometz, and you put vinegar in them. Umatablin osan b'tvalin kamo mitibetא, and you season them with spices like mud and straw. Umavin osan al shulchan b'leilei Pesach, and you bring them onto the table on the night of Pesach. Okay, and then one more source, which we'll just skip ahead for because I think it's relevant here in Ches. Charoset, I think he talks about it. Oh, that. I went to Lulav. Sorry. Charoset. Yeah, so he clearly has the dipping thing, but then he says, so Rama has you dip everything like Roses. You know what, actually, yeah, maybe it's easier if we read it here. Oh, well, whatever. So the two, what's weird about this mitzvah? I mean,
you just bring it to the table?
Yeah, as you bring it to the table, right? You have it. And so the thing is, that's the funny thing is he does say that you dip it, but the question is like, if I had to describe the weirdness of it, it seems less structured than other mitzvos, like Mevino, here he says Mevino al shulchan b'leilei Pesach. Okay, and fine. It's true that he says in the instructions that you dip stuff in it, but he doesn't say to do that here. And also what's weird about it is like, what's the deal with this, vague recipe? Like usually you would think that, let's say like if I said like, if I gave you the equivalent of this kind of thing for arba minim, right? You'd be like, that's a little too vague to be halacha, And like here, even the fact that he says here raisins, or he says tamarim or grogeros, like how if you make charoses and you vary the recipe, how much do you have to vary before it's no longer charoses? Like, is it just that it has to look like straw and mud and taste like that? And that's also just a weird way to say it. Yeah, keep it.
Well, it seems like, there's like the Seder plate and stuff that are also things just kind of for show on Pesach, which is a little interesting.
I don't know about that. Well, because the matzah has the mitzvah objects have definitions and the non-mitzvah objects don't, right? So like matzah, halachic definition, maror, halachic definition. The shnei tavshilin are just reminders, so that and they're not a mitzvah either. Like
You're saying
this is a mitzvah.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah, which is just weird as a
he's-
mitzvah. Yeah.
He's making it clear of what the purpose is.
Yeah.
So I guess that
Right.
could in a sense show why like the recipe is not clear because I guess you guys say how does it achieve that purpose? But if you make something look like more
Right. But let's say,
yeah.
let's for example, like he seems to say that the bitterness is the thing, which is why it has to be the what do you call it with vinegar. But like, let's say people use grape juice, and like I remember there was one Pesach where like I think I didn't have walnuts, which I usually like using walnuts, which I don't even know if they had walnuts back then in the Middle East. But I was like, okay, we have macadamia nuts. But as I was making it, I was like, at what point does it not become charosa? What are you gonna say?
Yeah, are you going back to your question from before?
Yeah.
Are you kind of asking like like, is this halachic or not? Like, is this just the Rambam giving us like his example, or in which case like you just have to make something that looks like mortar to you, or tastes like mortar to you, or is this like actually like halachic and like this is the recipe you have to use?
I mean, I hear that way of asking it. I was saying, given the fact that it is halachic, it doesn't seem halachic, but because I don't think you could call it mitzvah mitzvah if it weren't halachic.
Mitzvah
But,
used to have the Charoses.
right,
And then his ingredients could just be the way that they did it or the way he did it.
right. But so then, what is the source of a mitzvah then? Like
Make it zecher l'tid, make something that
just anything that has to, yeah, okay, yeah, you could say that. So then, but,
no, that's fine.
and that's why here's another thing is that like I do it with the cinnamon sticks, like I take cinnamon sticks because that looks like straw, right? But I know that a lot of people just put cinnamon in it. How's that like straw, like, and how many sticks do I need to have? It feels like not halachic,
3.4 ounces.
Right, exactly. Yeah, even if you use like some word like kazais, like it doesn't even say the amount, right? Like if you have a spoonful of charoses, is that are you yotze? And if not, then like why doesn't he give a shear? It's just a really amorphous, much like mud and straw. yeah. Okay. Did you have something you want to say or no?
Is there any examples you can think of where there are ratios given?
Well, we saw that by the arbacosos, right? And we see that by matzah with matzah min hachitu min haorez. That if you make matzah out of rice and wheat, then it has to at least have the tam dagan. Like so, there's like there are things like that, for halakhic objects. Yeah. Okay. Now we get to Maror. Achilas Maror ina mitzvah min Torah b'fnei atzma. It's an interesting structure, right? It's not a mitzvah from the Torah by itself. Ella tluhi b'achilas Pesach. It is dependent on the achilas Pesach. Shemitzvah aseh achas lechol basar haPesach al matzah umrorim. It's a one mitzvah d'oraisa to eat the meat of the Pesach on matzah and Maror. And then the Durbanan is to eat the Maror by itself. Afilu ein sham korban Pesach. Yeah.
From this halacha,
Yeah.
if you don't have Maror in the time of Mishnah, you do not eat korban Pesach.
So I think we say, I have to look at this. I thought we say that it's not ma'akev the Pesach, but the Pesach is ma'akev the Maror. Let me just see if that's an open halacha in korban Pesach.
That would make sense to me. But then the way he
Right.
words it is that it's
Taluya.
mitzvah achas.
Mitzvah achas. Right.
Taluya would tell me that the Maror is
one directional. Yeah.
But then he says it's mitzvah achas.
Right. Let's see how he says it here. 18 shall no. Okay. Achilas basar pesach b'leilachim. This is in 8:1 in Korban Pesach. Achilas basar pesach b'leilachim mish asar mitzvah saseish nemar v'achlu as a basar b'leilazeh tzli ishu matzos amronim yifluhu. You should eat this meat on this night, roasted over the fire, and matzos and on Maror you should eat it. Vein matzah umar me'akvin. Im lo matzanu matzah umar yotze yidei chovaso b'achilas basar hapesach levado. Right. So if you don't have matzah Maror, then I found a juicy thing. I gotta talk about that after. Then you fulfill your chiyuv with the eating of the meat of the Pesach alone. Val Maror below Pesach ina mitzvah. Shenemar al Marorim yochluhu. Yeah. Right. So it seems to go one way. Yeah. Okay. So then he says, what is Maror? Marorim. So this is the classic type of problem here, is that Maror is referring to a real world object, a real world species. And there's always the question of like, how do we know which one it is? Okay. And even though the Mishnah lists it, how do we know that that's that? Okay. So we have Marorim ha-Marorim b'Torah, hin ha he lists 5. Hachazeres, v'ha'alashin, v'hatamcha, v'hacharchavina, v'hamaror. Kol echad mechameshes mini-shiur elu nikra maror. Okay, so each of these is called maror. So I wanted to look at 2 things. We've got Chabad.org that says it is romaine lettuce, endives, horseradish, date ivy, and wormwood. Okay, and then we've got Makbili, who gives all the scientific names, Lactuta sativa, which I guess is going to be romaine lettuce. That does not look like romaine. It's probably the
That just says lettuce.
that's just lettuce. Yeah. It's what kind of lettuce is lactuta?
All lettuce is called that?
Iceberg. Yeah, that's iceberg. Yeah.
No, it's not iceberg.
You did say someone said iceberg. Yeah. Interesting. Comes from lactus, meaning milk.
Huh.
Due to the white sap. Oh, here we go. 3 primary varieties of lettuce are butterhead, cos, barbacosis, no, and loose leaf. Yeah. So I guess this is part of that. I don't really know my scientific thingies. All right. Then we've got what?
I know a guy who might. Actually, I'm actually in a chat about like plants in Torah.
Black market Maror dealings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Chytridium intybus, which is this guy. Chicory, yeah. So chicory, I have seen it as an ingredient. I've never seen it like eating chicory. I don't know. Okay, there's that. Yeah, it'd be bitter probably. Chicorium endivia, that's probably endives. Yeah, so endives. I remember 2 years ago, then Zev and Isaac were in my Rambam Bekius. I forgot about Chaim was also there, but I forgot some of them didn't know what endives are, so I bought endives and we all had like an endive party. They
definitely are bitter.
They're bitter, but they're tasty bitter. They're like, yeah, to me. And then this Eryngium, which sounds like a general thing. It says a species of flowering plant in the family, blah blah blah, native to Greece, Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Palestine, and Syria. Yeah, fine. And then he also mentions where to go here. E criticum. Oh, that was more. I think I accidentally closed one of them. Erinjos, and then the last one was Lactuta cereola, which is another milkweed, I guess. Okay, yeah. Compass plants. Oh, that's cool because the sun and the upper leaves twist around to their margins upright. Yeah. What happened to it? Did I not? I think I didn't look at the right one. Let me type it in again. E criticum. E. Oh, that was it. Okay, Eryngium criticum. Yeah. So there you go. Those are the Marors, I guess. Yeah. And so my understanding is that from the Rav, at least, he said that we know for sure that romaine lettuce is the type that was used. I guess probably my guess is probably because it was available and there's like a continual Masora, and then horseradish also somehow got in there, but I don't really know. So that's why I think we're knowing what to do with romaine, because it's for sure. Also, another thing is that I did not know this until we'll finish reading. So you can mix and match, or you could eat all of one or kazayis of all of them, as long as they're still moist, meaning fresh. You're yotzi with the kelach. Kelach is the stalk, I believe. Let's just check and see if that's correct. Stem, yeah, the stem. Afil yavish, even if it's dry. So I guess that's like with the horseradish, how they do it. Vim shalakan or kavashan or bishlan. But if you cook them, or I guess boil them, pickle them, or cook them, ein yotzei behen. You're not yotzei. Yeah. So I don't know where I first read this, but if you've ever heard this midrash that it's called, well, there's a classic question people ask of like romaine lettuce is not bitter, right?
I mean, it is at the white part.
Okay, right. So one answer I've heard is that the stem is bitter.
The white part is yeah.
Yeah.
Lettuce isn't that good. And probably the ones that we have that taste good.
Yeah. So the other, you have another answer? Yeah.
I just wonder, do we know how we've tasted 2,500 years ago?
Well, that's what we keep saying. Yeah. Right. That's a good question also, but I've heard. What was that?
Or
Yeah.
just that we tend to eat lettuce with a lot of dressing and stuff.
No, but if you eat more romaine lettuce on Pesach though, then. But it's not bitter though. Sweet.
The white part.
Yeah.
So I was actually gonna ask, do you think it's like dafka, like the like daf, like the white part, or like.
So I did see someone say that that it's referring to the stem, but I saw another explanation, and I think Rashi quotes it, but if Rashi doesn't quote it, I'll just paraphrase it. Shmoyus, it's going to be in 12, I think. Maror, roaring. No, Amru. Another. Yeah, I'm roaring. Let's see if Rashi says. Roaring. Kol Esav Mar Nikra Mar V'tzivam Lecho Mar. No, he doesn't say it was a Rashbam. Not Rashbam. No, so someone says that it is. It starts off bitter and ends up sweet. Sorry, starts off sweet and then ends up bitter. Just like with the Avdus in Mitzrayim, it started off sweet and then ended up bitter. So that I heard is the explanation. I think either for romaine or for something else, that we harvest it at a point where it is edible, but if you leave it growing, it becomes bitter. So it's not that it's tasting bitter, but it's that the species is a species that is bitter, which is I had not read that until like last year or something. Yeah.
So that's good. It could also be that, at least for this purpose, we'd have to harvest it later.
No, it's identifying the species. It's not saying that you have to have an experience of bitterness.
But then if the tom for like Maror is like, like the zecher to like value more him,
Yeah.
then we're not eating it as Maror though.
But that doesn't mean that you have to experience the like there was
Oh, that was the whole thing. Oh, that's why we eat horseradish.
it's a religion of ideas, Chaim. It's not a religion of of sensory experiences. No, but yeah, no. That's the oversimplification. But the only two things. So my dad's grandfather was the last Orthodox Jew in our family, until us. And there's only two things I know about him, about like what he did. One was that he would eat. My dad has memories of being really young and seeing his grandfather eating like horseradish until he cried. And then the other one was on Yom Kippur in his non-leather shoes, he would put like pebbles so that he'd be like standing on like pain. And I was like, when I heard these things, I was like, both of those are not really Jewish ideas of like it's not, it's true that there's a halachic thing that takes into account the inui of not wearing shoes and then the maror of the thing, but it's not that the point is to make yourself have the physical experience. Like, yeah. So
It seems like it maybe will go against that simple start.
that might be the case also. Yeah.
Just sound off of
Yeah. The thing I was going to mention, by the way, which I'll just mention it now, unless you want to go into it. Where is the? I don't have the Rambam open anymore. Actually, no, we have it in. I think he mentions it in the beginning. I think he uses that lashon, right?
I think so.
In the Zman, or it's either here, it's in the right. So I think we raised this question of if you don't have matzah and maror there, then are you still chayav? Right in sippur. So what do you say, or what do we say?
I would say based on I would say definitely yes, but I can't.
I would say definitely yes also, but then the question is like, what's up with this lashon,
Oh, that's just like that. Maybe that's like the shah that you're five.
Okay, right. Yeah. So yeah, I have to access something on Facebook.
Maybe alternatively, maybe because you're chayav, but it's not really super that unless you're showing him matzah.
Oh, that's okay. That meaning that you're incapable of doing the mitzvah, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's not there because you're talking about the matzah. That's a good answer. So Abigail Deutsch asked the question to me this morning. And I bought a Misivta Haggadah. I'm so excited to use it. So I busted it out. And it turns out that the answer to this question is a machlokas between the Grizz and the Trumas edition. Can we do it really quickly?
Sure.
Okay. So the Grizz raises the question. This is in the Misivta. It says, I guess it's from the Haggadah, Mibes Levi. He's topic, so he's in doubt. Ha'im hadrasha b'shah shemaseh munachim lefnecha he drasha al zman hachiyuv, right? So is it on the zman? Shezman chovas hasippur hu b'layla she'az mechuyavim l'chilas matzah and maror. That the time of your obligation in sippur is the time when you have the obligation to eat matzah and maror. Oshu din be'etzem hasippur shetzarich lios kishemunachim lefanav matzah and maror mamish. Or if it's a din in the sippur itself, that it needs to be resting before you, literally. V'nafkamina ba'ofen shekvar kiyim. It's funny he puts this nafkamina. Shkvar kim es mitzvah zachilas matzah umar v'silkam milfanov. The nafkamina is, let's say you ate matzah and maror already and you remove them. Okay, I would say the nafkamina is if you don't have them, but whatever. Im yesh alav adayin chiyuv l'sapir b'yitzis mitzrayim. Do you have a chiyuv to be misapir? So the Hasik, he concludes shish din lomar es hagada al matzah umar mamish. That the din is you have to say hagada on matzah and maror literally. K'mishmalos divrei hagemara lechem oni. That's another thing, is the bread of answering that you have to say. But that's really a statement about the matzah. That it's I mean, he's bringing it as a rye, but it's not like a necessary thing. That matzah has to have the word said over it. Okay, it's not just a limit on the zman. V'kasav shkin mashma midivrei hamechilta al pasuk bavur zesh amar lo amarti el b'shar sheish masam mar munachim lefnacha al shulchanecha mashma she'eno ra gilui al hazman kiyum hamitzvah sagada shu leil tazvav ela sheish din lomar es sagada kisha amata mar munachim lefnacha b'mitzius al shulchana. All right, fine. V'kasav harav the grip Farlow, I don't know who that is. Badas kama rishonim sheim ein lo lefanav matzah umar eno yachal l'kayim mitzvah sippur yitzis mitzrayim pesach mishum hadrasha shel bavur zeh. Okay, right. So other rishonim hold this. Okay, but then the Trumas Hadeshin, who I thought was a rishon, but maybe he's an early achron. Kasav ha'agada atzma by nami delihavi b'shas shiroi lechol matzah umaror. So he says the haggadah should be said at a time that's fit for matzah umaror. V'gamrinan v'darshinan v'higarta lebincha v'hulei bavur zeh lo amarti ela b'shas sheish matzah umaror munachim lefnacha r'tzon lomar b'shas shiroi lechol matzah umaror. Umidvarav nira she'eno tzarich shiyu lefanav matzah umaror mamish. Okay, and that's how I would have thought about it also. It's pashut that they're not ma'akiv sippur. Mitzvah zo tiye tluya b'matzah umaror ela shetorah kava shezman mitzvah hu b'tesva b'shah shemutzuyim al. Yeah, so it's a machlokas. Yeah, so it's interesting. But gotta love the Torah, the Mesivta.
Oh yeah,
it's very, very good. I'm so eager to use it. Yeah.
I hope it's here. I might have left it in Detroit.
Oh yeah, I mean they have I mean, if you want to, I bet if you wanted to get Rav Pesach's permission to buy one for yeshiva, and then we could like use it over Pesach, you know. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna be back in Detroit for the second half.
But not for the Seder.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right. Let's stop here.